Hey, it's Dave and Evelyn from the camera store.
And today we're taking a look at the Panasonic G9 II. Today we're going to be talking about Panasonic's latest Micro Four Thirds camera, the Panasonic Lumix G9 II, and at the same time they've also released two new lenses.
We also have an updated version of the 1-400 and the very good 35-100 2.8.
We are going to get into those lenses in a future review, but today we're going to focus on all the new features on the Panasonic Lumix G9 II.
When you first get your hands on the G9 II, it feels remarkably like the Panasonic S5 II, and that's a good thing. They are basically the identical body between these two, and that's really nice if you are in the Panasonic ecosystem and are switching between the Micro Four Thirds and the full frame. The cameras function almost identical. If you take a look at the controls here, Panasonic isn't known to make the sexiest looking cameras, but they are very functional. Every button is labeled, and even little things like the ISO button has a little nub on the top here that I can easily feel with my finger that I know I'm on the ISO and not the exposure compensation or white balance on either side of it. I do like the fact they put a microphone jack and a headphone jack in here, of course, but a full-size HDMI port. We also have a USB-C, which is good for data transfer as well as power delivery. The other side, on the hand grip section, we do have dual UHS 2 card slots. Great for redundancy there. Turn our attention to the back of the camera here. We do have an articulating screen on the back. It's a 3-inch screen with 1.84 million dots of resolution. We also have a really nice viewfinder here. It's 3.69 million dots, but it features up to 120 hertz refresh rate, which is really good if I'm shooting any kind of movement or sports or action with this viewfinder. Also on the back of the camera, we do have an 8-way controller here, as well as the control dial, which is also another controller. Lots of ways to input your information into the camera and navigate the menu system. Now, this camera is fully weather sealed, and Panasonic, says, has improved freeze proof. Now, in a few months' time, we'll be able to test that out for sure and see just how freeze proof it is. But till then, I'm no worry about using this camera in rain or anything like that. I'm very confident that this camera can certainly handle that.
I don't have the camera in my hands right now because Dave saw something that caught his eye and he took that sample away, but I will mention that we're also having the opportunity to shoot on a Panasonic Lumix G9 II. So you're gonna have to let us know what you think of it, what you think of the video footage. Now, often we're actually shooting on a Panasonic GH6. That's been our kit camera for a long time. So Drew is very familiar with this ecosystem. So we're gonna talk to him about video a little bit later on, but I wanna get into the sensor and the processor and some of the new photo abilities that we have. So first of all, this is a Micro Four Thirds sensor. So it's a tiny sensor, but it has 25 megapixels and a lot of capability. So this is really becoming competitive with the OM Systems OM1. And I think it is a compelling option, especially for people that want something that's mirrorless, truly lightweight and small, and you're able to pack around a ton of glass in a very small package. We do have the 100 to 400 millimeter lens, which basically on the long end gives you an 800 millimeter equivalent, and you can pair that with a teleconverter as well. That's the new ability of this combination, and I think that having a Micro Four Thirds system is still a really great option for people that want to have the high technical ability and then some other really cool features. I think the big headline feature here in terms of the processor and everything is the phase detection autofocus that is on this sensor. Now, all the other G series cameras had contrast detect based DFD or depth by defocus systems. Panasonic, of course, did the absolute best that they could with that system, but having phase detection, it's undeniable how good it is. And then having the ability to track humans, animals, motorcycles, other vehicles, things like that is phenomenal. We've seen it with all the other camera brands, and once you go phase detect, you never go back. And we love it. And it's great for video too, which Drew is going to talk about a little bit later. But you also have some really awesome modes for shooting fast action. So if you want to shoot with AFS, you can shoot up to a whopping 75 frames per second with a 3-second of shooting buffer speed, which is crazy. You can also shoot 60 frames per second if you want to continue with continuous autofocus, or if you shoot in mechanical, you can shoot 10 frames per second. So lots of great options there. And if you want to get that pre-burst option, Panasonic has brought it back. It is in the G9 II. A lot of people were asking for it. So you can shoot 1.5 seconds pre-burst before you actually hit the shutter, and it will actually record your frames for you. So this gives you the opportunity to get micro moments, a bird taking off in flight. Let's also talk about that IBIS. The in-body image stabilization is 8 stops in the camera up to 60 millimeters. So this is impressive, again, for being able to do handheld shots. And speaking of handheld, we now have a handheld high-res mode. This is something we saw in the Olympus or OM Systems cameras. The other cool thing is that we have some neat photo modes. So I was very excited. If you don't know, Panasonic and Leica actually have a great relationship. And so now there's this really cool Leica monochrome mode. So you get kind of that look that you would have from a Leica camera, but it's built into a profile for Panasonic. We also have some other real-time LUTs that you can use for your photography or video. And it's nice that it has it right in the camera. You can see it. So if you're not someone that wants to do a lot of post-production or grading for your video, you have this option as well.
Evelyn, how come you look way more hardcore than I do?
Because I am more hardcore than you, Dave.
I mean,
lifelong girl guide right here.
I mean, I did bring my polka dot umbrella from the van. It's my backup umbrella. Just
excellent. It is a nice umbrella. Yeah, I'm always like worried about holding umbrellas in like the lightning and thunder, but you know. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see if I'm still here at the end of it.
On that note, we actually are going to bring Drew on camera and we're going to talk about some video features because this is where things also get really interesting with Micro Four Thirds.
All right, Drew, thanks for joining me on camera here and my polka dot umbrella as the rain really starts to come down.
I don't remember this part of my contract. I think I'm going to have to renegotiate a little bit.
So hopefully this will be a quick section, but Panasonic has the fantastic video side of their cameras. Tell me more about this camera.
Well, I wish it was going to be a quick section, but it's funny in the presentation they were like, oh yeah, this is our more still-centric option. But we're still going to give you pretty much every major video feature that you could possibly ask for under the sun. But don't worry, this is the still-centric. Don't worry. Open gate, so really nice for vertical video content creators. You've got 6K, which is something everyone was like, oh, why didn't we have this in a previous version? We've got 4K 120, we've got 4K 60, 422 10-bit. We've got 300 frames per second, 1080p in a dedicated S&Q mode, plus 3 custom control dials that are all programmable for video specs as well. Real-time LUT library, like there's a shorter list of things this doesn't have than the list of things this does have.
So compared to the GH6, which we've been using all the time now,
yeah.
How does this one improve on top of the GH6?
I mean, the big one's autofocus. Oh, so close there, Drew, but the correct answer that we were looking for is it doesn't have a fan. Good luck next time, buddy. Having usable autofocus while we're doing video, everyone talked about the Panasonic Pulse, which is
Panasonic Wobble, right?
The Panasonic Wobble. And this, we've been using autofocus for the entire shoot. So tracking full face and eye, I've been trying to make it fail, honestly, and it's been rock solid through it. I haven't seen any sort of real hunting or anything like that for this entire shoot. Feel free to go back through and check it if you want, but yeah, the autofocus is the biggest one.
And for me to say they're more still-centric thing and still put a full-size HDMI in there tells me that they're really taking this as a serious sort of video camera as well.
Yeah, I would honestly call this like a content creator's tool. We've said that before, but honestly, it does feel like they were tooling this with content creators in mind. So yeah, full-size HDMI out, but no B-RAW, which is a bit of an interesting one. They've got SSD recording direct off of the USB-C, and some of the formats are locked behind that SSD recording out of the USB-C, so Apple ProRes being the key one. You can't actually do 4K Apple ProRes without an SSD hooked into this. So there are some limitations on this system, but not nearly enough for me to be like, oh yeah, this is quintessentially just a stills camera. Like, this is a really potent video tool as well.
Well, Dave, it's been quite the day. But yeah, the Panasonic Lumix G9 II, I mean, this is a very capable hybrid camera.
What Panasonic has got going for them is a very functional camera that delivers a ton of options to work with. I can travel anywhere I want to go, and I got a very competent tool.
And so I think for someone that wants to pack light, go traveling, Micro Four Thirds is still a very good system to get into.
I mean, keep in mind, with the original G9 was a really good camera. It was a big step up, and then they've improved it with firmware. But this is a whole new camera. This is a big step up from everything.
But of course, we want to know, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on this G9 II camera? Does it check all your boxes? Are you into Micro Four Thirds? Let us know in the comments below.
Is there a certain feature set that you're very impressed with this new camera? Make sure you follow us on Instagram.
And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll catch you again very soon.
Yeah,
What can you tell me about the G9 II? Wait for the god of Zeus here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, this is. See, even the weather's like, yeah, Panasonic, bring the thunder.
Hey, thanks for sticking around and watching our most recent episode on the Panasonic G9 II. If you want to check out more of our recent content, click up here. And if you're Canadian, you want to shop local, check out thecamerastore.com down here.